Good evening and welcome to All Things Sky Blue game preview on Boxing Day. So Merry Christmas to everybody that's listening to this. We are playing Sheffield Wednesday at the CBS Arena. So I will be joined in a minute by James from the Wednesday Till I Die podcast. But as always, I'm joined by Mark. Good evening, Mark. You okay?
Yeah, hi, Stuart. Hi, everyone. Yep, good, thank you.
Good. And we'll bring in James. Hiya, James. You okay?
Yeah, all good. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on. I do appreciate it.
No, thank you for coming on. Thank you for taking the time out and joining us. Obviously, we are playing on Boxing Day, and we both have a game in between this. So, obviously, some of the things that we might be talking about in terms of players, might be suspended or might have got injured. Obviously, in the next game, we've got Sunderland away, and I believe you've got Cardiff at home, haven't you?
That's right. Yeah, Cardiff at home. Another home fixture. Need to get some much-earned points really on the board, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So, as you can see, that's scrolling down the bottom. This is where you can find out All Things Sky Blue on Facebook, X, TikTok, YouTube. We are on Spotify, iTunes, and everywhere else that you can get your pods from. Please go and like and subscribe everything that we do. It'd be much appreciated. We're also partnered with the Anecdote Sports Bar at the CBS Arena, and we are sponsored by Wright Steel Fabrication Works that can do your steel fabrication up and down the country, but mainly in sort of the Coventry, Warwickshire area. So that's my bits. James, if you can just tell us a little bit about what you guys do on your pod and where we can find you.
Yeah, so there's four of us, myself, Liam, Jack, and myself, Liam, Jack, and Lewis. I forgot his name there. So
wow,
that's bad, that, isn't it? No, myself, Liam, Jack, and Lewis on the podcast every week. Sunday night we record. It goes out on a Monday where we just talk about the match from Saturday. It's primarily an audio podcast. However, we have ventured into the world of YouTube as well, so you can listen and watch us now as well, which is always nice. So yeah, we're just honest people, really. We just say how it is. We don't sit on the fence, and yeah, every Monday you can listen to us. Obviously, over the festive period might be a little bit different, but if we get a win against you boys, I'm sure we'll be itching to talk about it.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah, you can see there on the screen at WTID Pod across all the socials, and just search for the Wednesday Till I Die podcast.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. So, as we were mentioning a little bit off screen, we'll go into a little bit of history. It's been a while since I think we've met you guys. You might know the exact date, or Mark might be able to know the exact date on when we last played you. But I think the last five between us has been two wins, two losses each, and one draw in between. And I think that's the one that you were talking about a minute ago, wasn't it? At the Rico Arena.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't beat you at your place since 1995. So at the now CBS Arena, as it's called, we've never beat you there. Obviously, the last time we played, you wasn't even there, was you? You was at St Andrews.
That's right.
When you beat us during COVID, when there was no fans. So yeah, it has been a long time. I think 2010, 2011 was the last time that we travelled to your place. So I was thinking that as well earlier. I was like, Coventry, not a team that we've played for a while. And obviously that rings true when you look at the stats as well. So yeah, not a fixture that we look forward to fondly anyway.
Yeah, and obviously looking at that, the home fixture, especially because obviously we are at home at the CBS Arena. History would show as well that apart from one draw, it's normally been the home side that has taken the advantage. But how's your away form been recently?
Rubbish, really. We've not been great at all away from home. I think we picked up a win against Stoke. The 2 games prior. The last one was at Norwich where we got beat 3-1. The Stoke game was the first win that we've had away from home all season. So we haven't travelled very well, but, to be honest, the season at all hasn't been fantastic. It's only been in recent weeks where we've actually started to pick up a little bit of form. And yeah, it's a strange one really, because it's almost the seasons, we've played 21, 22 games. It has almost been like 2 separate seasons, absolute chalk and cheese. I'm sure we'll get onto the managers and things in a little bit later on. And yeah, you look at it, and when Xisco was here, we could hardly pick up. I think we had 2 points when he got the sack, and yeah, to see as where we are now, it is totally different. But more to your point, away from home, we haven't seen many good results, and even the win against Stoke, it wasn't a fantastic performance either. It was a bit of a drab affair, and it took a 93, 94th minute goal from Anthony Masaba to actually pick up all 3 points, which, look, you're going to take them games. The games where you aren't playing very well and you're picking up points. Right now, at the moment, where we are in the relegation zone, I'll take points however which way they come, to be honest.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it's obviously we will get on to the manager as well shortly. Any questions before we move on, Mark, at the moment?
I suppose if it's okay, I'll talk about the badge actually. I mean, Danny Rowe obviously is coming for Xisco Muniz. What's he changed? Would you say? What's he done differently to Xisco? Obviously, with the exception of winning games. I mean, has he changed personnel, tactics? What has he done differently to that Xisco didn't do at the start of the season?
Yeah, tactics massively have changed. Xisco came in and he pretty much surrendered all possession, tried to catch on the counter attack, but then we didn't do any counter attacking. So it was a very tough watch. It was awful. It was so bad. I mean, the bar has not been set very high whatsoever. I've never seen us play as bad as what we had done at the start of the season. There was no green shoots. There was no signs of any sort of progress or anything like that. Pre-season was dire. The alarm bells were ringing. Everyone was saying, don't panic. It's pre-season. You don't get any points for pre-season. I was one of those saying, I think we're going to struggle, especially for goals. We hardly scored any goals. It was really bad. We had poor preparation from the get-go with the whole signings and everything. We hardly made any signings until very, very late on. I mean, look, we didn't even have a manager until, the boys were about to come back and report for training, which is not ideal. And yeah, when Danny Rowe's come in, all right, it's his first managerial job. He's never, he's not been a first team coach anywhere. However, he's been at the German national side. That was his last job as the assistant manager. It was also at Bayern Munich, Southampton. He's also been at RB Leipzig. So when you look at the pedigree that he's got and the places that he's been and the managers that he's been able to learn off, you can really see that in how he's coming across, and very analytical. Loves the numbers, loves all the stats. XG he's probably got a tattoo of XG somewhere on his body. I would have thought he absolutely swears by it. But that it's obviously it seems to be working, and I think that more to your point that the main difference is the belief. He's instilled that belief into the players that they can do it. I mean, I think 4 of his last 6 games we've scored in injury time right at the end, and 3 of those have actually changed the result to go on to win. And we picked up a point against Leicester, which kind of started this little mini run off, really. And I think that's something that we were lacking. We went a goal down at any time, and that was it. We were beaten. I mean, we came back from a goal down against QPR last time out to win 2-1. First time we've done that all season. And that game against Leicester that I mentioned, that was the only other time where we'd actually picked up any sort of points from a losing position this season. So just a belief more than anything else. We're very front foot. We like to press from, if you like to play the ball out from the back, we will close you down. We will put you under pressure. We will make you make mistakes and kick the ball out and try and nick it off you. It has happened a few times. You've not scored from it yet, directly anyway, but certainly, cause a few problems. And yeah, it's just a lot better to watch as well. And it's like the players are enjoying themselves. I mean, you said any changes in personnel. One change is Bailey Cadamartra. He was in the youth team. He's only 18 years old. He's scored 3 goals now in his last 5 games. Scored on his full debut as well. And other than that, I mean, he's had to use the players that Cisco's got. So again, it's quite remarkable, really, that he's getting a tune out of him, and the manager that actually signed these players couldn't do anything with him at all, which is a bit odd, but that's where we are at the moment.
Yeah. Sorry, Mark. What formations have you been lining up with at the moment?
Quite a few, really. I mean, all of last season when we were in League One, it was very much a 5-3-2 or a 3-5-2, whichever way you want to look at it. We've primarily been setting up with a back 4, and that would either be a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1, depending on who we're coming up against. But he's not afraid to change it during the game either. There's been a couple of times where, you know, he's seen that other teams have been, you know, getting down getting out wide and overloading on one of his fullbacks, and he's then changed to a back 5, and he's done that as early as half time as well. He did that against Blackburn. We went on to win. Can't remember the other game. I think he did it at Norwich. We did actually lose that game, but he's not afraid to change it to go to a back 5, and he's very, very proactive as well. If he sees something going wrong, he will change it. I must admit, I think both times he's done that, I don't think it's really worked. However, having said that, you don't know what it would have been like if he'd have kept it as it is. It could have been much worse. So yeah, I mean, I applaud him for that. Managers that we've had in the past, Darren Moore for one, would probably tend to stick with it for another 10, 15, 20 minutes. Obviously, we're in League One, so you probably got away with it. Whereas sometimes, you know, it's a little bit too long. You can see it sat in the stands, and sometimes the manager doesn't. And yeah, by the time he changes it, is a little bit too late. But no, Danny Rill certainly likes to mix it up a little bit. I don't really think he's got a preferred formation as per se. He likes a back 4, but he's quite happy to mix it up as he sees fit, really.
Yeah, we obviously. I'll speak to Mark in a second, but we feel a little bit of the same with Mark Robins, that sometimes he is a little bit too slow to make them changes. Mark, do you think that's been a little bit of a common occurrence for Mark Robins in not making the changes quick enough? Just like James said about Danny Roll not doing it quick enough. Do you think that's a criticism of Mark Robins as well?
Yes and no. I think some games I think if we're in losing positions, he will change it there and then. I think that's the Ipswich game where he did make some changes in the second half. If you go back to the playoff final, a bit further than that, he made changes when we were losing 1-0 to Luton. We brought up Matty Goddard in the second half, and then we looked a better side. So I think some games, the manager doesn't always get it right. I think sometimes he makes his subs pretty late, and I can get the criticism, but I don't think it's completely like that. But at the end of the day, I'd rather have Mark Robins as manager of my team than not. So I'm still happy with him.
Yeah, definitely. Just moving on to the players, I went on to and had a little look on the transfer market thing that people go on, and obviously I know it's clear that you've got no money. Your chairman doesn't want to plough anything into it, which obviously makes life a little bit harder. You have had a couple of loans come in. One. For me, probably the one noticeable one was Jeff Hendrick on loan from Newcastle. But you have kept Barry Bannon as well, which I was a little bit surprised about. I thought he may have gone on to like maybe a middle of the road club or maybe slightly higher up, because I think he does show, a little bit of class, a little bit more consistently than most in your squad, I must admit. But you have got Anthony Musala, and again, you've mentioned Bailey Cadamartra, that's doing really, 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 really well as well. Did you feel that? How can I say it? Did you expect a little bit more in the summer transfer window, or are you happy with what you did?
What I expected was Darren Moore to still be the manager, if I'm being perfectly honest. That didn't happen. He came back off his jollies, and then they parted ways. Then it was a couple of weeks until we signed Cisco, and then not a great deal happened. We're on, I think there was out in Spain, and then we didn't sign anyone until they landed back in England, which probably reasons for that. Yeah, in answer to your question, yeah, I did think we should have done a lot better in the transfer window. I don't think the squad that we had in League One was too bad. You know, we picked 96 points up in the way that we did in League One. I think you've got a fairly decent squad. You know, League One is fairly tough. There's some big sides in there. You know, you like Derby, Barnsley, Portsmouth, Bolton. You know, a lot of teams that are still down there. That, you know, it's not a pushover in that league. And I thought that we had a nucleus of the side that can push on with a few additions. However, like I said, when you totally rip it all apart and change the manager that's got you all those points, it's going to be very, very difficult. I must admit, most of the signings that we made, a bit obscure. You don't really know who they are. Paul Valentin, Juan Delgado, you know, they're just two to name a few, which haven't really featured. One's injured, and Paul Valentin came back into the side at the weekend and didn't really do a great deal. I think we should have done a lot better, but you're right in what you're saying. We haven't got a great deal of money at all. Apparently we're losing £2 million a month as it stands, which is crazy when you look at it, because you look and you think, what for? You know, it is mad. And yeah, we've just got to kind of shop in the free and loan market. I'm not too bothered about the signings that we're bringing in for on a free or on loans or things like that. I feel like you can create a decent side by doing that, especially one that, you know, can at least compete in the Championship. But certainly should be a lot better than where we are. I mean, you mentioned Jeff Hendrick. He's awful. He's really bad. Send him back in January for me. He's not good at all. He's not done anything whilst he's been here. The only thing he did do is he scored against Leicester after coming off the bench. He only had one touch in that game, and that touch was to put it in the back of the net, which I suppose you can't really grumble at, but he's not really done anything of note whatsoever. I mean, you mentioned Anthony Masaba. He's probably one of the bright sparks, to be honest. He came from Monaco. We've been crying out for pace. We didn't have any the last 2 seasons. We signed Alex Myton on loan from Forest a couple of seasons back, and he had a bit of pace, but it didn't really fit into the system that we had. However, we are playing with wingers now, and we can exploit that. Teams are coming onto us a lot more this season, so there is a bit of a space in behind that he can get into. And he's one that will do that. The goal he scored against Stoke was a prime example. You know, he showed him a clean pair of heels, and off he went, and nobody was catching him. He is a little bit speedboat, no driver, I've got to admit. End product isn't quite there yet. But then again, if you've got that pace and you've got an end product, unfortunately, you're not really going to be playing your trade at the foot of the Championship. You're going to be probably playing in the Premier League. So you have to kind of take the rough with the smooth a little bit with some of those players, and just accept where we are as a football club, really. Yeah,
and obviously, looking forward to, obviously, we are closer to the January transfer market as well. Your new manager is obviously in now and got his feet, you know, under the table, so to speak. Do you expect a few in, one in, a lot in, or what do you expect in January?
Truth be told, I don't really know. I feel like there's going to be quite a lot of change. We've brought in a new head of recruitment now. Chansiri, the chairman, has also came out and said that he's not putting in any more extra money into the club. However, after that, he sacked the manager, brought in Danny Röhl, brought in a star-studded backroom staff. Chris Powell is one of the assistant coaches. You know, a backroom staff with some fantastic pedigree, and then brings in a head of recruitment. Now, if you're not going to put any extra money into the club, you could argue, why do you need a head of recruitment? Why are you paying for someone when you're not really going to sign anyone in the transfer windows? Which does lead, you know, I do feel like we are going to be doing some wheeling and dealing. And I don't just think it's going to be players coming in. I think there's going to be a lot of players going out. Lee Gregory is one that people may know. Obviously, he was at Stoke. He was at Millwall as well. Fantastic player. Danny Röhl's come out and said that he's not needed and doesn't really fit into his plans, so he's probably going to be one going the other way. And I mentioned Hendrick, and I could add all the other loan signings that we've made could all go back because they've not done anything whatsoever. But it all comes down to whether the chairman's willing to actually put some money in, and I really hope that he does, because we've struck lucky really with Danny Röhl, and the fans have taken to him like a duck to water. I've never seen the fans take to a manager so soon, even when the results haven't been going well. We didn't win for 2 or 3 weeks in his first couple of games. It took a few games until we played Rotherham to get that first win, and everyone loves him, and things that seem to be going in the right direction. And I think now is a time that we can actually really, I think January is make or break for the teams at the top and the teams at the bottom, because what you find is the ones at the bottom need to do something to get out of it. Those that are hovering above can kind of think, are we all right? Have we got enough? And in the months after the January transfer window, you normally see quite a lot of shake-up, and fingers crossed we're one of those that can benefit from it and kind of propel ourselves up the league.
Yeah, excellent. Well, I know from my point of view anyway, if you'd asked me about this game at the start of the season, it was one that I was very much looking forward to, and I thought being honest, I thought we could turn you over, quite comfortably. But obviously, our seasons turned slightly in terms of getting the results and the performances, but yours has as well. So it's one that it could be a little bit of a banana skin for us. How do you feel about that, Mark?
Yes, it could be a tricky game. I mean, Sheffield Wednesday have hit a bit of a purple patch, and I kind of wish we'd play them at the start of the season a bit, because I think we would have won comfortably. I think now maybe not so much, but I guess the only good thing is we're at home, so that gives us a bit of comfort that I think we can get a result. But I think from our point of view, we're getting into an important part of the season now. So, obviously got Sunderland this week, we've got Wednesday and Swansea at home. So they're 3 games I think we can definitely get points from. And I definitely think it's a game we can get 3 points. But, Sheffield Wednesday, fighting for their lives, it's not going to be an easy game. We've got to play well to win. You can't, no games are given. And then like every game in the Championship, you've got to play well to win. So, and Sheffield Wednesday is no different. So, I'm sure Mark Roberts will get the team well prepared for the game, and hopefully we'll perform to how we can do and get those 3 points.
Yeah, obviously it is a little bit harder because we have got 1 game each in between us playing on Boxing Day. How do you think, Mark, that we'll set up? Do you think it's going to be very much the same team as we're probably going to put out against Sunderland, or do you think he'll change it being a home game?
So I think he'd like to change it, I would say, for this game. I think it'll be like a 4-3-3. Probably much the same way, the similar sort of side to, say, maybe a Southampton or the Birmingham game. I think Callum O'Hare will probably feature, start. I'll be surprised if he doesn't start, provided he's fit, of course. Haji Wright, I'd imagine, will come into the team. With Ellis Sims up front, Sakamoto on the wide. I think he may go Sheaf or Eccles / Sheaf and Allen at midfield, and then sort of the 4 at the back with Brad Collins in goal. So yeah, I think it'll be a bit more attacking for this game. But I think in terms of formation, I think it'll be a 4-3-3 / 4-5-1, whatever you want to see it. I think that's the way we'll go. I think that's the way we'll go for the foreseeable. I don't see him changing it anytime soon.
Yeah. From your point of view, James, who do you think that where do you think that the threats are coming on from Coventry?
Yeah, I think you've already mentioned him there. O'Hare is one. I saw him against Birmingham when you were live on Sky, and I thought you were fantastic that day. I think you've missed him, haven't you, this season with injuries, and I suppose when you look at your form and your recent results, you can almost tell where he was injured and where he's come back into the side. Really, he's probably one that I'll pick out as being one of your biggest threats. Ellis Sims as well. He's obviously young. I think he's one that we need to look out for. Might have his hands full. In defence, we have haven't kept many clean sheets at all this season. So it's going to be interesting how we fare really. But you've got there's a lot of players that we need to kind of look out for. But I think one thing that we've stopped doing is actually giving teams too much respect. I think we did that under Cisco, and what we've been doing is worrying about ourselves rather than worrying about what the opposition have got, which I think is key really to actually being successful in the championship really.
Okay, excellent. So just before we do start wrapping it up, any other questions, Mark, for James?
I mean, I guess looking at the Christmas from a Sheffield Wednesday point of view, we look at the next sort of fixtures. You say you've got Cardiff, ourselves. So forgive me, I'm trying to work out you've got on the
Preston. It's Preston and then it's Hull. Yeah, Hull on
Preston
New Year's
away.
Day.
I mean, how many points do you A, think you can get, and B, will you get? I guess it's the question.
Yeah, well, I think when you say how many points can we get, I think there's no reason why we can't win every single game. In reality speaking, we're not going to do that. I think we're playing a lot better than what the league table suggests. I think the recent form, 3 wins out of 4, shows that. The fact that we held Leicester to a draw as well, that they've blown many teams away this season already. All right, Norwich away wasn't fantastic, but we're starting to score goals now, which we weren't doing all season. And I think something that in a weird way, the fact that we are down in 23rd, I think psychologically when we're coming up against other teams, certainly from a fan's perspective, the fans will the Coventry fans will just expect 3 points when we roll up, because we're we will still be at that point, even irrespective of what happens against Cardiff on Saturday, we will still be in the relegation zone. So and I think that helps us because we're not playing like a team that is in the relegation zone. If you didn't know, if you'd have watched the game against QPR, especially in that second half, you wouldn't have known where we both were in the league. You wouldn't put us down as being one of the relegation teams at the moment. So I think realistically, I think 6 points from the next 4 games would be a decent return. Obviously, highlighting the home games, the game against Cardiff, I think that is one that we can definitely pick up 3 points. Obviously, we came off a massive high from the game before against QPR, so hopefully we can carry that into that. It's that old saying, win at home, and if you can draw away or pick up points away from home, I'd probably say it would be a win and 3 draws rather than 2 wins and 2 defeats. But yeah, we'll see. I don't think the season is going to be defined by our away fixtures this season. The main aim is just to survive. And if we can do the business at home and pick up a few points away, let's not get too down. We lost 3-1 to Norwich, and it wasn't the end of the world. The fans didn't go mad, which was amazing, because we normally go, it's like the worst thing in the world when we've lost a game and building a statue when we've won a game. But it wasn't like that against Norwich, which I think fans are just understanding now that, like I said, pick up your points at home and we'll be all right.
Yeah. Can I nudge you for a score prediction?
Score prediction? Yeah, of course you can. I'm gonna give you 2. I'm gonna go with my head and my heart, because I can't come on here and say that we're not gonna win, surely. So my heart is saying that we're gonna go to the CBS Arena, and for the first time ever, we're gonna pick up 3 points and beat you 2-0. But my head is thinking it's probably gonna be a 1-1 draw.
Okay, Mark, can I press you?
Yeah, I think it's a hard game than what people might think. I think we can't take. If you take any team lightly, you can come unstuck. I'm gonna say we're gonna nick a 2-1, but I think it'll be a tight game. I don't think it'll be a one-way traffic game, but I think we'll win 2-1.
Okay, I'm not going to sit on the fence at all. I think if we do show up like we have done in the past couple of games and against Birmingham, if we score first, I think it might be a little bit of a high-scoring game, and I'm going to go for a 3 I'll go for a 3-0. But if you guys score first, or if we don't show up, I think it might be closer, and I think you might get that draw that away draw that you want. But I think if we show up, I think we've got the players definitely starting to sing a little bit, and if they do show up, I think we've got the 3 points. But like I've said before, we have to show up. We've got to make sure that we show up because there is no easy game. But I just feel that this is a game at home with a full crowd because I think it is going to be a sellout pretty much. And on Boxing Day as well, with everybody on song, it could be a special Boxing Day for Coventry City. So, anything you want to finish off with, Mark, before I go into the word association?
I wish everyone from Allthingsskyblue a happy Christmas and happy New Year, and everyone else who's listening outside who don't usually subscribe to Allthingsskyblue, happy New Year and happy Christmas by the time this probably gets broadcast. So I'll get it out of the way.
Thank you very much. Right, so as always with our guests, James, we ask them to do a little bit of a word association. So what I'm some of the things that I'm about to say probably. So the first one is Hillsborough.
Magical.
Excellent. Like it. Favorite away ground?
Oh, well, it's definitely not the CBS Arena. I can tell you that for free. Favorite away ground? Oh, is Wembley an away ground? Because that were quite good last season. Can I have Wembley?
Yeah, you can have Wembley. I'll give you Wembley. It weren't very good for us. I enjoyed the day, just not the result.
Yeah, well, we followed up from yours and did what you couldn't do. So
that's right. Yeah, I know. Sheffield United.
Pigs.
Next big talent.
Bailey Cadamartri.
Okay. And the last one, I can't pronounce his first name, but it's your chairman, it's your owner, Sanshiri.
Chansiri.
Yeah, Dejpon Chansiri. Can I swear on here?
If you really want to.
Oh, I'll not swear. I just hate him.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Right. Thank you very much. Much appreciated you coming on. It's been great having you on, James.
No
if
problem.
you can just let us know where we can find you again and what you guys do.
Yeah, of course. So you can find us at WTRD Pod on all the socials. You can just search for the Wednesday Till I Die podcast on all podcast platforms, or you can just search for us on YouTube as well. We'll every Monday morning, a new episode where you can listen to us talking about the game from the weekend. People liken it to Four Guys in a Pub. The way that's kind of the format that we go for, go off on lots of tangents. And we do actually have a few people listening that don't actually listen to, they're not fans of Sheffield Wednesday as well, much as the tangents that we go off on and the stuff that we talk about. So just do have a listen, open and honest, say how it is. And if we're crap, we tell you we're crap.
Fantastic. That's what I like to hear. Straight down the line, no messing around. Good
stuff.
So, as you can see for us at Allthingsskyblue down on our ticker, you can find us on Twitter or X, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. We're sponsored by Right Steel Fabrications. His is in the corner over with Mark. And we're partnered with the Antidote Sports Bar at the CBS Arena. We are on, obviously, YouTube as well. And please go and like and subscribe to everything that we do. Much appreciated. All I've got left to say is happy Christmas. Have a good New Year. Just be safe and play up Sky Blues. When I end the recording, James, just don't shoot off, mate. We'll have a quick chat afterwards.
No worries.
All right. Mark, thank you very much. James, thank you very much.
No worries. Cheers. All good.
All right.